Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week an inside look into sports, wellness, and into fitness. Well, I have been looking forward to this show for quite a while as we tape the show here on March 8th. You know, sports teaches all kinds of life lessons. And my two guests this week taught the world some life lessons, and you're about to hear their story shortly. Guests today, representing Holmen High School, Ryland Wall, Cole Kalander. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
I've been in a lot of games as an official spectator broadcaster. None quite like your last game of the season. And before we get into that, I want our viewers to I'm whetting their appetite for what's to come later. But let's just start by getting to know Cole and Ryland. Cole, this is interesting because your grandfather used to work for me when he was in college. We coached a football team together. Mom was my art director when she was in college. And now I get the privilege of meeting Cole Kalander. It's a delight to be able to get to know you. Let's go back in time and talk about like how you got introduced to sports.
Well, I've been a part of sports my whole life. My dad's been teaching me baseball, basketball, football. And I don't know, I've just had a love for basketball mainly my whole life. It took a turn a few years ago, but it's back on track now, and it's been really fun.
You know, we're going to talk about that journey, that setback, which is compelling in itself, emotional too. And your mom revealed it to me, but I want you to share the story. But before we do that, of course, Ryland Wall, well, we've broadcast a lot of games, football, basketball, baseball, and we know, and I think that our viewers do know your skill set. And as we tape the show here, you're starting football practice just today on a beautiful spring day.
Mm-hmm.
But you were introduced, knowing your family, knowing your dad as a coach, you were introduced to athletics when you were very young too.
Yep. I have an older brother, so I was very competitive, playing with him a lot. Just growing up playing baseball, basketball, football, anything around the yard. Just was always fun.
Yeah, and of course, the athleticism of your brothers is pretty remarkable too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a pitcher right now in college. So
yeah, and I go to a Logger game, take my grandkids to a Logger game this past summer, and there he was.
Yep, he got the call to play with the Loggers this summer, so that was pretty special.
Well, Cole, you've had a compelling history of being involved in AAU sports and so on. But when I read the note that your mom sent me about what you went through in your journey to become a high school athlete, it is a story in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so middle school was exciting. I kind of got the feel for basketball and kind of knew it was going to be a pretty good high school season. And my freshman year, I did football, track, and basketball. And I made VR for basketball. I broke or tied the freshman record for high jump. And football was getting pretty fun too. And then sophomore year, it felt like I plateaued. I kind of just didn't improve. Just stayed the same. So I made VR again for basketball, and instead of jumping 6 foot for track, I no-heighted, which means I didn't even get 5'3". And so it was a rough season. I decided to quit football and track because my body just couldn't handle it anymore. And so then junior year comes around, or tryouts, and my coach comes up to me after tryouts and asks me if I'm okay. And I kind of like took it as an insult at the time. But he was telling me, he's like, I was even struggling to do some push-ups, which is normally pretty easily for average athletes. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm fine. And then he told me to go get checked out one day. So then I was talking to my mom, and I remembered in like the back of my head, there's a physical education class at our school, and the way to get points is that your heart rate has to be over 100 beats per minute. And I remember just sitting in the class, and I was looking at my heart rate, and I was like, it's at 100 already, and I haven't been doing anything. So my resting heart rate was over 100 already, and I was just shocked. So I go home that day and I tell my parents what Coach Blank said. He was the coach at the moment. And they're like, yeah, we've been noticing some stuff too. So
well, because you'd lost a lot of weight and your fatigue level, so you knew inside that something was dramatically wrong.
yeah, I could, when I ran up the floor, I just get winded, and I didn't gain over 5 pounds from freshman to junior year. I was 6'5", and I think I was 135 pounds, and it was just crazy because I didn't know what was happening. I thought I peaked my freshman year of high school athletics. So then we scheduled an appointment to go to the doctor, and they kind of run me through. They did some tests on me, and they kind of figured out that I have hyperthyroidism, which basically, like in a simple term, means like you just get really unathletic, you lose weight, you get weak, and it just isn't good.
Emotional time for your family because they thought, boy, thinking about losing Cole Kalander must have been just a very challenging time.
Yeah, it was tough because at that moment I realized I lost 2 years of high school athletics, and it was just crazy. So they like told me the plan. They put me on some meds, and then instantly I just got back to my regular self. I was dunking again. I gained, well, from last year I was 135. I'm now 185, 190. So I gained over 50 pounds, and it's been crazy.
Well, but there's more to the story, and of course, not necessarily that story, but there's more to another story in your life, which we're going to reveal. Now, with you, Ryland, you've been blessed with, you've been pretty healthy, but you had a setback when you were young too.
Yeah, I haven't really had a ton of injuries, but 6th grade I just broke my ankle during basketball season. That was pretty tough, but back then Cole took over the team, and then he made a pretty good season in 6th grade.
So that was just a minor setback for you, but other than that, you know, you've had ups and downs too, of course, like all of us have.
Yeah, nothing too much of a setback I've ever had, but I think that just shows that all the training and weightlifting really pays off.
Well, absolutely. But again, Ryland Wall, Cole Kalander, my guests this week. Ryland, you were my player of the game in the Toma game. That was one of your defining moments. I'm going to let you talk about that. And you were also my player of the game as an official. You're not supposed to have a player of the game, but you were my player of the game against Wisconsin Rapids. But you had a pretty good season, 6-5 record under first-year head coach Ryan Meyer, who's a friend of mine. He did a nice job with the culture and some great assistant coaches. But let's go back to January 11th when Ryland Wall gets the ball, and the score, I believe, is tied 42-all. And what happens then?
We were playing at Toma, close game, all game, and then comes down. I get the pass from, I don't remember who, but then 6 seconds left, take the shot. Don't shoot a lot of threes, but somehow ended up going in.
It's a deep three, too.
A deep three, you're down by 1 then.
Mm-hmm.
A deep three. Of course, everybody knew it was going to go in, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the horn goes off and it goes in. Now, all of us have defining moments in our life, in our playing careers and so on. That certainly must have been yours.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Everyone was super happy. The whole team played good that day, but then it was just cool to see us get that win against Toma.
Football, basketball, baseball, you got a favorite?
Baseball, for sure.
Because that's what's going to take you to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But you have football, which again starts practice today, and we're going to be broadcasting at least 2 of your games. And then baseball, high school, and then Legion. So you got a lot left before you get on to your next chapter in your life. Thoughts about football and then baseball?
It's about a week overlap, but I'm pretty excited for both. Looks like it's warming up here, and then we got 5 football games, then we got a full schedule of baseball, so it should be fun.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that. We're going to work some baseball games too. Well, but honor roll is a big part of who you are too, because student first, athlete second.
Mm-hmm. Yep, grades always came first. Always getting the homework done, and then performing well in school before anything athletic-wise.
That's an expectation from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, you have dipped into football. You've played some golf, track and field. You're an honor roll student too, and you averaged 12 points a game as a Viking as a senior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the grades have been really important to me too. Yeah, well, my condition has, one of the symptoms is losing focus, so that kind of hurt him a little bit, but now it's back on track, and I've been getting a lot better grades.
Some tough classes too?
Yep.
What's your thought on hybrid, virtual, then in person, and disrupting your entire senior year?
It's been a change. I like the way they formatted it. We're all virtual, and then they we did hybrid, so they're kind of like making it a transition for us, and then we're going back into person on the 22nd.
But you're both you're social people. You like to be around friends and teachers in the school setting and so on. Has it been a challenge? A lot of people struggle with mental illness issues, isolation, depression, and so on, and the abrupt change. Has that affected you at all, Ryland?
Not really, but I really understand that. I think it's overlooked a lot, as the whole senior year is supposed to be a blast, and now whole first 2 terms we've been sitting at home. So a lot of people haven't been around their friends as much, but with sports, gets you back into it and makes life a whole lot better.
Yeah. Well, in basketball, they take a halftime break, and in broadcasting, we take a break too. So we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back, more here on Seven Rivers Sports.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Seven Rivers Sports. I've been looking forward to this show for a long time. As I said, Holmen High School and Cole Kalander and Ryland Wall. First half of the show we talked about like a journey that you had, Cole in particular, and Ryland too. I did an article published a couple weeks ago in the Lacrosse Tribune about life lessons on the court. And I'm not sure how many of our viewers saw it, but it was a game that I officiated. First round of the playoffs, and 5 Holmen players couldn't play because they were exposed to COVID. And I told a story about my view of emotions and life lessons in sports and so on. Got a lot of compliments. Didn't even mention Holmen, but a lot of people knew it was Holmen. But I remember distinctly as the game ended and Ryland Wall came out of the game, I have never seen in my lifetime emotions higher than they were with you when you walked off that court, knowing it was the last game you'd ever play. Recreate that for us.
Obviously, it was bigger than just the guys on the court. We had the 5 guys that we just wanted to get another game, so knowing that would be our team's last game, it was tough. Knowing that those guys kind of got their senior season stripped away from them and they never knew that Marshfield would be their last game, and then we just wanted to give them another one. We couldn't get it.
So what was going through your mind when everyone in the bleachers, everyone in the stands, standing ovation for you and for the team?
It's pretty special knowing that they had our backs the whole season. They supported us a lot. We had to quarantine a couple of times. That was mainly the parents that were in the stand, so really just goes out to show that how much they care about us.
And your teammates. So Cole, and the story was written about you too, Cole, because it was about you having to sacrificing everything you did. In the first half of the show, you talked about your illness and so on, losing weight and not being able to participate. And then you have another setback. And you and I have talked about this many times, about you having to watch the game at home and with friends, and knowing that the only way you could play is if the Vikings would win the game, and it was not a Hollywood ending. So you're watching from a distance as the season comes to an end. What's going through your mind?
Well, we were at Max Hammond's house. He was another player that was out, and it was all the guys that were out except for Logan. And as the final minutes were as the game was coming to an end, we all it was silence. We didn't know what to say to each other, because that was kind of our seniors' last. We wanted to make a run at it. I think we could have, because through the season we were getting pretty good and thought we were getting somewhere. And then once the buzzer hit, it was just silence and it was emotions. And
the emotions, but and the parents of the players that were not there were in the stands, and your mom had your jersey on, other players, and so it was so compelling, such an inspiring story. Affected me as the game came to an end, and it affected me for several days after that.
Yeah, everybody put in a lot of time to show support and try and get us back out there.
So what's the biggest thing you take away from that? Because sports is about commitment, sacrifice, obstacles, setbacks, joy, sadness. What are you taking away from it, Cole?
Just don't take a game for granted. Just play every game like you can, and it's your last, and play your hardest.
Does that kind of change your philosophy of life too?
Yep. Yeah, that event changed my perspective on a lot of things.
In other words, seize the moment.
Yep.
So you play multiple sports. You're graduating both graduating in May, and then going on, and both of you going to be collegiate athletes. You talk about your journey. What's next for you?
I'm going to go play basketball at UW Oshkosh. Yeah, it's just crazy. Last year at this time, I didn't think I could get there. I didn't even know I could, start.
Yeah, well, we're so proud of you, and we're equally proud of Ryland, because I've seen your skills in football, and I've seen your baseball skills too, and I know you have a bright future ahead of you.
Yeah, next fall I'm heading to Winona State to play baseball there, so that should be a new chapter.
Great program too. And you're good in the classroom. You've been student of the month, so what you're going to be studying in what area?
I'm looking to study finance there, so.
And talk about the baseball program there. I imagine it's a year-round commitment.
Yep. So this year they got a lot of fifth-year guys, so next year there'll be a lot of openings. They got great culture, great guys over there, and should be a blast.
Yeah. Cole, I know you're uncertain as to what you want to do, and it's not something that you need to figure out now. You got lots of time. First, you need to enjoy the rest of your senior year, enjoy the summer, and then get into your college years.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I think I might pursue finance or marketing.
Good. And come back around here and maybe coach or do something like that?
Yeah, my brother's been recruiting me for his grown-ups league, so.
You mentioned in your profile too that your brother was one of your role models.
Yeah, he's been the guy I've been competing against my whole life, so it's been fun.
So he's inspired you to overcome some setbacks? And
yeah, he's made me better.
Well, your whole family, though. I mentioned early on your grandfather, who's retired in education, worked for me for a long time. But so you have a very supportive family. Talk about that.
Yeah, when we heard that, or like when I heard that I couldn't play, and my family was very supportive of me and kind of knew how I felt, so they kind of gave me some space, but also helped me get through it.
Well, family support is what you're all about too, with your dad, who's one of your role models.
Yeah, he's the head baseball coach, so whole life he's been helping me with baseball, basketball and football, anything he can. Then also my older brother. Obviously been a lot of competition, but last time I played with him was on the baseball diamond, so had to come together to do as much as we can.
Coach Meyer called you a real leader, captain, a leader, and he said there's one word that would describe Ryland Wall, and that's a heart of a champion. His heart is enormously big. You can see it in practice, you can see it in how he handles himself, how he carries himself, and how other players look up to Ryland Wall. That's quite a compliment.
Yeah, I just got to give all you have out there, because like Cole said, you never know when it's going to be your last game, so just do whatever you can to help out the team and get some wins.
Talked to Coach Meyer about Cole Kalander, and he said that you are just starting to hit the surface of your abilities, and that you can do a lot of things at UW Oshkosh, and that you are a coachable and a student athlete with great listening skills. That's a compliment too.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment. He was a really great coach this year, and it was a pleasure to work with him.
Yeah, and he had good assistant coaches too. And so, share for our viewers the culture of Holmen basketball.
It's just everybody loves everybody, and everybody's trying to get everybody to be a better player and a person.
I noticed that maybe more than any other game when you were at the lacrosse center and you beat Northwestern, who came back to beat Aquinas in the sectionals. I mean, they were an outstanding team. But I noticed that then. I noticed it in your last game. I noticed the family culture where there was no selfishness at all, and you were part of that equation too, Ryland.
Yeah, obviously in lacrosse center, everyone scores. I know it can go off for any game, so we're all cheering for each other, and then especially practices and stuff like that. It's been always a joy to be around the team.
Yeah. Well, Cole, all academic, National Honor Society, you've put your priorities in place. Your leadership, you explained your leadership is taking charge and motivating others. How have you done that?
Well, in practice, I'm always urging everybody to get better, and I'll give some of the younger guys, like the twins, they did pretty good this year. I'll give them some tips, and I'll try and help them for when they get older so they can lead the team.
How about if you went to one of the Holmen elementary schools and you gave a speech on what it takes to become a successful student athlete, and you're giving them advice, what would you say to them?
I would say effort oversees talent.
That's one of your slogans?
Yep.
And have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I can do better than that?
Yeah, it's been there sometimes.
But mostly you're satisfied with your effort.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the Holmen youth basketball if you went and spoke to them, Ryland?
I just tell them to enjoy it, because sooner than later it's over and time flies by, but just work as hard as you can and do whatever you can do.
Any regrets as a high school athlete as you're coming to the end of your senior year?
No, I don't really got any regrets, but it's been fun.
Good. Any regrets for Cole?
No.
None at all. You know the old saying, I've met the enemy and the enemy is me, or I've met my friend and the friend is me?
Maybe if I could have figured out my condition earlier, that would have helped a little bit. But
what about hobbies that you enjoy doing when you're not in school and you're not working out for sports?
Yeah, I like to hang around with friends a lot. I like to play some golf. Just sports is kind of my hobbies.
You a pretty good golfer too?
Oh, I'm getting there.
And hunt, fish, all those kind of things?
Yep.
And what about Ryland?
Yeah, I really like being outdoors. Hunting in the fall, we didn't have football. Did that a lot, and fishing all the time as well.
Ryland, you said something about dreams on your profile, that one of your favorite sayings.
Yeah, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. So obviously when you're younger, set big goals and just do anything you can do to accomplish them.
So you had dreams when you were younger, and you've gotten to that point where you've fulfilled your dreams?
Yeah, I'm always dreaming of a state championship of some sort, so we still got that opportunity in baseball, so we'll see what happens.
Somebody said, a basketball player, about you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Does that describe you?
Yeah, yep. The old Michael Jordan plays a big factor into life.
Exactly. So he's one of you kind of modeled your game after some of the things he's done?
Yeah, well, I've tried to. It's hard to reach his talent, but I'm trying.
I think you measure the effectiveness of a player by not necessarily their skill set, the points they score, and the accomplishments they have, but how they make other players on the team better. And you both have done that. You personified what a team player is all about. And I see that as an official, as a broadcaster, as a fan, because that to me is the deciding factor in your success story. Any thoughts on that, Cole?
Yeah, yep. Well, for me, Max Hammond has been a real push, or like he's pushed me to get better, because we've played AAU a lot, and we're friends, and we're similar in talent. We're both tall, and so we push each other to be the best player that we can.
Ryland too. It's not all about Ryland Wall. I can see that. You don't look for the limelight.
Yeah. This year everyone had their role. Everyone knew it. So some games Cole would score 20. Some games CP would score 20. You never knew it. Just doing whatever you can to get everyone else the bucket.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. I said one of the certainly the blessings I have as a host of the show is getting to visit with Ryland Wall and Cole Kalander that inspire me and inspire others, and it's been great to have you on the show, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 five-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back. Well, I think you'll agree, two very special athletes, guests this week, Cole Kalander and Ryland Wall, personify the true meaning of high school athletics. Our football schedule continues this week with 2 games. On Thursday, Sparta at Logan at 1 p.m., Central at Holmen at 7 p.m. Hope you can join us for these 2 Mississippi Valley Conference games. Next week, my guest is Viterbo University soccer star Michael Ohana. An interesting story on his journey to lacrosse. Well, thanks for joining us this week here on 7 Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.